Oh, yeah. You
We're
gotta love that
back.
intro. Man, I'm so pumped up from that. Let's go.
We should start every day that way. Just like for our first meeting of the day, just play like an intro video, like.
I think just
Well,
like top
hello.
of the hour, every hour, just play it.
Yeah, maybe.
Wait,
Maybe we
wait,
should.
wait, wait, wait. You guys don't start every day that way? Come on. Are you kidding me?
Turns out I do
What's
not
up?
start every day that way. But wanted to give a warm welcome to the internet out there. We are the Call Guys, Kevin Hopper, Rhoda, and Passar. We are joined today by Chet Lovegren. Let's give a quick round of applause.
One and only Chet.
The sales doctor. If you guys don't follow Chet, you should be following Chet. Without further ado, let's give a quick shout out to today's sponsor, ConnectAndSell. If you guys haven't heard of ConnectAndSell, it is your conversation weapon. We're going to be using ConnectAndSell to simply click and wait to have live conversations in our ear. It makes going outbound effortless, connects you to prospects in your target market rapidly without interruption. We're going to be using that on the back end. We're going to make some live cold calls today. How are we feeling, boys?
Stoked. Let's do it.
I'm pretty excited.
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited.
Before we jump in, let's talk a little bit. Let's go around the horn. Who are we calling? What are we talking about today? Let's start with you, Ronan. Who are you going to be calling?
All right, I've got two lists, different personas. The first one is founders at early stage companies. I'm going to be positioning the Call Guys service where we help companies build. We call it, instead of outsourcing, we call it insourcing. We insource your SDR team for you. We show up as fractional SDR managers, help you build out the team so you have it right the first time. Get it right and have them predictably generate pipeline for you in an outbound fashion. So that's going to be my persona, bucketed into one list. And if I happen to get through that one, I've got a second one ready to go for a second service that we have here.
Love that. Chet, what about you, my man? Who are you calling? What are you talking about? It's important context for the audience.
I'm calling my favorite buying persona, sales leaders who love to be cold called a certain way, talk to a certain way. You got to fit their formality. I miss the old days of calling law firms and dental offices where they didn't know all the tricks and tactics and crap that we do and weren't scrutinizing every time you made a call. So I have the lovely task of doing that. Essentially, my value prop is that, everybody let go of a bunch of people, no new marketing initiatives, no new tech or training implemented. Boards are going, where the hell's our pipeline? And then everybody's like, well, I got an idea. Let's just increase everybody's quotas. Because, right, like if you're like me and you're overweight and you're trying to lose. Yeah, if you're like me, you're overweight and you're trying to lose weight and you have this weight loss goal and you're not hitting it, all you have to do is increase that goal, guys. And then you'll magically start getting to the gym every day and avoiding nachos on Sundays with the family and saying no to Ben & Jerry's ice cream. Like, that's how it works. Don't you guys know? Like, I want to be a millionaire. Well, I'm not hitting that goal. Well, be a trillionaire. And now you're going to become a millionaire. So we're helping companies essentially walk into board meetings at the end of the quarter being met with praise instead of scrutiny.
Ooh, love that. Love that. Chet, will you tell us a little bit more about what you do as the sales doctor? Give us a little bit of background for the audience.
Yeah, our I call it like a PLG model, but typically the thing we do is we like to go into companies and help enable their teams with the curriculum that they have, because curriculum at companies, for whether you're talking about SDRs or AEs doing discovery to close or even sales leadership, it's typically just a hodgepodge of experiences, a big old melting pot of different methods and tactics. So we come in with a tried and true curriculum and actually help them understand things using the science behind how the brain works. If anybody's ever heard of the forgetting curve, 87% of what someone learns is gone within 30 days. So these 12-week university programs that people pay thousands of dollars for, they forget the foundation in week 5 when they're talking about advanced principles. And then video library content, it's like, yeah, Grant Cardone's got so much content that you could watch it every single day, 10 minutes a day for the rest of your life, but nobody's really ever going through all that content and retaining all that information. So we try to provide training and consulting the way that the brain actually works and enact that. We have a lot of cool little things that, we like to talk about in discovery calls that I won't share here just because don't want everybody copying my style, man. I don't want somebody downloading one of my sales sequences again and then selling it on Etsy for $20 from a link in their TikTok.
On Etsy?
I know,
Oh,
I know who you
geez.
are. That's a call
Oh
out.
my
That's some smoke. I know who you are. I know who you are. I see it.
Oh my God. Is that what the future holds for us, Kevin? Like we're gonna start finding our like proprietary content being sold on some like secondary market by Jeez, I'm sorry that happened to you, Chet. That sounds frustrating, man.
Well, I took your guys' first cold call boot camp, which was amazing, by the way.
Yeah,
if you guys haven't taken it, like I don't care who you are, you could be a VP of sales, you could be an SDR manager, you could be 2 years into your role or brand new. You should take it because if you already know the stuff, it's a great refresher and a reminder, and you pick up on some things you might have forgotten. If you're new to the game, it's a great thing to build a foundation. But I remember taking it, and that's when you guys started sharing your opener, and then literally I was telling Kevin like a week later I saw someone like posting that like this is the way I open cold calls, and they got like tons of likes. I was like, no shout out to you guys, no nothing. I'm like, nobody's saying can I get 27 seconds? Like nobody else is doing that. So it's the world we live in, but that's okay because those of us that know, we know, and at the end of the day that's what's most important. But yeah, excited to be here, guys. It's gonna be awesome. Listen to a little hardcore death metal this morning. I got the pre-workout kicking in, got a cup of coffee going. Ronan and I already got our Steelers-Browns rivalry out of the way. Yeah,
we just learned this today, y'all. Like Chet is a Steelers fan, and I, as you can see here, I'm from Cleveland, the land. So I'm a Browns fan. Steelers, Browns have been going at each other for a long time, very long time. So I like Chet a little bit less today. But I have so much love for him that it's only like takes a little bit off.
It is time, gentlemen. Let's go. Let's do it. We're all three going to be.
You guys haven't been dialing this whole time? I already hit go. Come on, slackers.
Jeez. I mean, come on. My bad.
Just for those of you who are new to the show, the way it's going to go is if 3 people happen to connect, the first one who's talking will be the one that you'll hear. The rest of us will go on mute so you don't hear multiple conversations. These are going to be one-sided for compliance reasons. As y'all know, there's a mixed bag of which states allow 2-party consent and which states allow 1-party consent. So you're only going to hear our side of the conversations. And for those of you who are wondering, no, we are not calling our friends. We're actually trying to generate appointments. There was a real cold calling competition I was a part of over a year ago. And one of the finalists who was found out was calling friends and booking meetings that way. It's like, oh, come on, not cool. If you're going to do it with some integrity. But another story for another time.
Hey, happy Tuesday.
We got one.
Yeah, I need to speak to Jeff Tucker, please. Yeah, this is Chet from the Sales Doctor, following up on some information or resources I sent over to him and his team. Appreciate you.
All right, Chet's either going to have a gatekeeper or a tour guide. Let's see.
Getting put through. That's what I'm told. Now I'm on the little dial tone there.
You like that? Either a gatekeeper or a tour guide, depending on how
that a lot.
Those are the folks who could guide you through the entire organization. And while we're at it, y'all, if you're joining us for the show live, drop in the chat where you're calling in from or where you're watching us from. We'd love to engage with you in the comments. The comments are very active. All of us will be responding in there as well. So if you have questions about what we're doing, feel free to pop them in there so we can get to your questions as you see us doing things that we're going to be doing here.
Yeah, I know direct dials are the best, but I spent 5 years selling commercial insurance. So I'm pretty used to the gatekeeper world, and I don't mind it. At the end of the day, a phone number is a phone number to me. If I can't find a direct dial, doesn't mean I'm not gonna reach out. Like I'll go spend 30, 40 seconds in the. Well, now it's turning into a 2-minute call, so I might just end up hanging up here in a second.
I can appreciate that.
I mean, they have 1,900 employees.
1,900.
We got Keandre joining us from Dallas, Texas.
Dude, shout out Dallas. If you have not been to Dallas, you need to go, and you need to go to Black's Barbecue. Black's Barbecue is so good. Like the entire, like they cook it. Like when you walk in the front door, there's like 2 giant barbecue pits going, and they're like
Yeah, I'm still here.
Fan for the smoke. Like best barbecue I've ever had in my entire life. Oh, so good.
That's fine. You can just shoot me over to his voicemail, and I'll follow up with him on email. Thank you, sir. Is Black's Barbecue the same as Terry Black's Barbecue? Because when I was in Austin, I went to this place called Terry Black's Barbecue, and that was something else.
I don't know if it's the same. It's been like 3-4 years since I've been to Dallas. I just remembered it was called Black's Barbecue.
Hey, Boris.
Ooh.
Boris, this is Ronen Pessar with the Call Guys. How have you been? Oh, yeah. I'm totally happy to send you that email. Is there a better time for me to try you? Okay, sure. You got it, Boris. I got where are your guys' faces? There you are. Hello. I got a hello, who is this? And did the intro. He's like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm in the middle of something right now. He was the CEO of a company actually here in San Diego, Kevin.
Oh, hey, this is Kevin with the Call Guys. Sunir, how you doing?
There we go.
Hello, Sunir? Ooh, you know what we're gonna do here? You know what I'm about to do here? Double tap, baby. I heard him. I heard him breathing on the other end of the line. So I'm gonna click redial. Hopefully, what we're looking for here, this technique for those that have never seen it. Sometimes when you connect on a dialer, any dialer, they will hang up the phone quickly for whatever reason. They didn't hear you. They didn't have the phone close enough. If you double tap, you call them right back. Odds are they're going to look at it and say, okay, what? And that's what I'm looking for. Let's see if Sunir does it. Sunir, how you doing? Kevin with the Call Guys here. Sunir?
Following up with this guy.
Killing me.
Okay, so quick tip. If someone cuts you off at the beginning of the call and they say, this is one that Kevin and I disagree on violently, but most things we agree on. If someone cuts you off and goes, hey, I'm sorry, I'm so busy. Kevin's of the opinion that he's like, just let it go. Let the fish go. You know,
or if they're busy, you don't want to push it and you just let them go.
Yeah.
Let them go.
And look, there's good reason and rationale behind that, right? So the logic is this. If they're not going to engage with you, they're not going to engage with you. So why push them? Now, my approach has always been to ask them when's a better time, like I did just now on this call with Boris. And the reason I do that is because sometimes they'll follow up with, sorry, who is this again? What's this about? And they give you a little bit of bitty window to like get in there and just to ask an additional question or pitch a little bit. If they don't, they don't. But it's a good way to get one more shot before they go. Look, people are legitimately busy, but typically any objection you hear in the first 10 to 15 seconds is a brush off objection. Brush off objections are the kind of objections that we get, usually because of how we sound. Once in a while, they could be legitimate. The rest of the objections we tend to get after the first 15 to 20 seconds can often be categorized as like legitimate business objections. Things like, oh, we don't have any budget for the next like year. We just laid off our entire department. We're not like bringing on any new tech or whatever it might be. Those are legitimate. Both are going to be handled in the same way, but with different responses. And the way that we always handle objections is the first thing you got to do is you got to tell them, I hear you. Got to acknowledge what they say. So it's like, oh, totally get it. You guys are going through layoffs. Like that must be really frustrating. I can only imagine how much stress you've got. The second thing is you reply to what they said. That said, actually, the reason why I was reaching out was to see if we could help you be more cost efficient as you move forward with your sales. And then you get into your ask for a meeting or what it is that you want. Would it be crazy if we found some time to just chat further when I'm not cold calling you? So I'm going to keep dialing. Let's see if we can get a live one where I actually show you guys how it's done.
Love that. Boop-a-doo. Just to follow up, Sunir did not. He picked up again and then hung up again. Didn't say a word. There's no words spoken, which is odd.
Chet, you got any call openers that you like going to, or do you always mix it up?
Yes. Sorry, I was waiting for that call to say, give me the voicemail. I've always just, dude, I don't know. I've got Kevin knows my opinion on a lot of different things with call openers, but I just like saying happy day of the week and then shutting up and letting them respond because they don't hear that.
Hi, Ozan, it's Ronen Pessar with the Call Guys. How have you been? Okay, when would be better? Joop, line dead. He immediately responded with, "Oh no, I can't take this call right now." And I heard a lot of noise in the background, like kids. Sounded like he might have been a little bit busy.
That's right. That's right.
Oh, Kevin, you're connected with this guy.
Yeah, he's my best friend, actually.
And by the way, one other thing I do, anyone who I connect with on the phone, I immediately go to LinkedIn and I send them a connect request and just say like, hey, I'm that guy who just interrupted your day. Wanted to put a face to the voice.
You do that after every call, or do you like have like a follow-up task on your calls to go to LinkedIn?
So in ConnectAndSell, I can show you guys because it's pretty cool. When you actually, how do I do this? Here we go. So when you actually share screen, boom, boom, boom. When you finish the call, you have this place where you can put your notes in, select your disposition, but I have it so that I can go to their LinkedIn. So it's right there. It takes me an extra click, send them the connect request, and then I have my disposition, which can often create the follow-up task as well. So in best case scenario, the certain dispositions will trigger follow-up tasks in your sales engagement platform, or you have follow-on tasks from there, depending on like what the disposition was. I got to the point where in past lives, I've set up SDR teams with like automated email follow-up tasks if you connect with someone where the subject line was like just spoke. And then it was like wanted to connect over email. You had asked for more information. What specifically can I send along? Just to try to start bridging connections to see will they reply.
Hey,
to the
Danny,
email.
happy Tuesday.
Got one.
Yeah, this is Chet with the Sales Doctor. Does my company name sound familiar? No worries. Well, real quick, I called you specifically because I work with sales leaders at different types of logistics companies. And essentially, what we do is upskill the reps and frontline managers. So, at the end of the quarter, when they report their numbers to the board, they're met with praise instead of scrutiny. I'm not expecting to have a conversation with you about this today. Frankly, I only have a few seconds myself. Would you mind if I ask you a couple quick questions to see if it's even relevant for me to send you some information on what it is we do exactly? Gotcha. When did you leave Overhaul? Ah, no worries. Okay. Yeah, I couldn't see from LinkedIn, so I make sure that I check the world's largest professional network directory before I make these calls. So I apologize about that. But hey, best of luck with the entrepreneurship journey. It's terrifying and exciting all at the same time. All right, Danny, have a good one. All right. Well, that sucks.
Yeah, what happened there?
Yep.
I went on an entrepreneurship journey as of last year, but he still got his
Yeah.
I mean, in all fairness, he does have open to work as his banner, but he's still got his current company as present. So I don't know what that means. I was a little skeptical of calling him because I saw the open to work banner, but he still had Overhaul, director of sales Overhaul as his job. So my thought process was that was an interesting play because I was either expecting him to go, oh, yeah, I just got let go or I quit. I just haven't updated my LinkedIn experience or something like that. If he brought that up, was not expecting him to say, oh, yeah, I went and started my own company last year. Last year. That's we're in May, buddy. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's the largest professional networking platform in the world isn't good enough for you.
You gotta
Yeah.
love that reply though, Chet, that you gave him, which was the largest professional networking platform. I'm
Yeah,
checking here. It says you're
largest
still there.
professional communication directory. Yeah,
That was great. I like that. I might steal that line from you. Kevin's still humming the opening song.
I am. Love that.
How do you guys feel about you call?
Hey, this is
One
Kevin
ring.
with the Call Guys. Sundar, how are you? Yeah, my name's Kevin Hop. I'm the co-founder, actually, of a business called The Call Guys. Sundar, look, I know I'm a bit of an interruption here. Caught you out of the blue. You got a minute and I can explain why I'm calling? Oh, geez. Sorry about that. Didn't know you were in a meeting. Oh, all right, bye-bye. Yeah, so Sundar was in the middle of a meeting. Could hear a bit of background noise.
Why does he answer the phone?
Yeah, sometimes I want to say that back, but I don't want to be rude. And this guy
Right,
is a
right.
CEO. But I do want to
It's
say,
definitely
like,
not worth it.
why, like, like the response sometimes in my head is like, oh yeah, Sundar, when I'm in a meeting, I always pick up the phone. Which is a lie, right? Like if you're in a meeting with me and my phone gets a cold call, I go like this. I look at it and I go, click on the side. Oh, check out my sticker, by the way. Isn't that cool? I click it on the side, and if you click on the side, it actually will mute the call and like not take it, because if I'm busy, I don't have time for a cold call. But I think part of when you become an executive, like the first board meeting, the board looks around the room and says to everybody, hey guys, it's really important you guys all start your day with your morning affirmation. Your morning affirmation is, I'm not interested. Thanks for the call. Top of your list. And then remember, guys, after you finish your affirmations, every time you're in a mission critical like make or break meeting, pick up your phone when you don't know the number. Right? And then the board director says, all right, make sure everyone's going to do that this week and next week and the week after. All right, good. Now on to corporate finance discussions. I think that's really what they say, but I'm not sure. I haven't been in a board meeting yet. That reminds me, right now we should start holding board meetings. Why aren't we holding?
Oh, yeah?
Hey, Kevin Lewis, how you doing? Oh, false. Beep beep. That did not ring in the ear. So I want to share a little bit. One of the things with our new sponsorship with ConnectAndSell here, share a little bit of under the hood, show what's going on right now live. So this is ConnectAndSell. All I did here, you can see my hands. I am calling about 3-4 people here at the same time. I'm not calling them. ConnectAndSell is a platform that does all of the hard work of dialing for you. Hey, this is Kevin with the Call Guy. How you doing today? Oh, yeah, David, look, I know a bit of an interruption. Did I catch you with a minute to have a conversation, or are you heads down, can't chat right now? Oh, you're not David. I guess that's my first problem. I was trying to reach David at account. All right. Well, got hit with the old. You guys ever get hit with that objection? I'm not David.
I don't know if that's an objection or bad data, but yeah. True story. One time I called a CMO who straight up was like, I'm not that person. Called around the whole company, talked to like 3-4 other people, and all of them said, this is the person. I confirmed the number. I called him back and he goes, yeah, I was just messing with you.
It took you a while to come all the way back around to say,
yeah. I was like, funny. Wow, that is brutal. CMOs, in my experience, are one of the worst personas to call.
Ooh, harsh, super harsh one to call.
There's I know there's some data coming out there about like which personas tend to pick up more and have conversations and stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to seeing the full report on this one. But I saw someone posting on LinkedIn like salespeople pick up like 7% of the time, but CMOs pick up like 1% of the time.
I believe it. My theory around why CMOs are so tough is MarTech was a space that absolutely exploded in the last 8 to 10 years. Like MarTech is just through the roof. The next space that's going to get really hard to connect, definitely going to be cyber and IT. If you guys have friends in the tech space, probably 1 in 5 of them or 1 in 4 of them work for a cyber company. Cyber is just huge. Everybody's got the next best thing in cybersecurity. So more than likely, that's going to be a tough space where if you're not using a platform like ConnectAndSell, it's going to be tough to compete. It's going to be really tough to compete. You're going to be spending all those. You're going to break your fingers from dialing the phone. Oh, my God. Okay. Chet, how's it going? You making some dials over there? How many dials in are we?
18, I think.
Ooh,
22, sorry. I'm short. 2 connects. 1 guy's an entrepreneur.
Good stuff.
What are you guys' thoughts on when it connects and it's like you hit voicemail? Do you just always double dial?
When it connects and it's actually their voicemail? What do you mean?
Yeah, like you connect and then it's like instantly their voicemail.
Hey, this is Kevin with the Call Guys. Oh shoot, that didn't work. Heard the beep, but it did not connect. Huh.
Like, in what situations do you double dial? Do you only double dial if like they pick up and hang up?
Yeah, that's usually it for me, at least. If they, first 3 to 5 seconds disconnect with you, I try and back. But the other thing you could do is just mark off that they pick up the phone, and then you have a working, hopefully the right person, but a working number, and you know that.
Yeah, I double dial when I hear their voice, right? So sometimes you get connected and you say your opener and you hear something on the other end of the line and they hang up. Could be a number of audio issues there. So calling them right back is kind of a sign, like probably about half the time, if they pick up that call, they're going to have more patience, right?
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that's important to realize about cold calling is we are fighting against the millions of calls a day that are robo spam. There's no one on the other end of these lines. It's just a recording that's going to play. You are being audited by the IRS, Oh, we're trying to reach the vehicle service department, whatever it is, right? So that's where people are like, they're really hesitant. They're like, hang up. So if you call twice, they're going to be a little bit more patient because the robo spams don't really do that. They don't call you twice in a row. I haven't seen a robo spam that does that, but
no, you haven't got like the 13 in a row from the same number.
No,
but you're right. Usually it's one and done.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to get a mug like Ronan because this is not big enough for my needs. But that's a hefty mug there, Ronan.
Yeah, this one was one that my kids made. I'm just kidding. I actually made this. It just looks like.
Yeah, I was like, didn't you post about making that? I thought you made that.
Oh, you saw that? Cool.
Don't blame any lack of craftsmanship on your kids, Ronan.
Oh man. I find that right after the half hour and hour mark, especially with executives, the pickup rate drops, but right before, like the 5 minutes leading up to it, maybe this is purely anecdotal, would love to see data on this, but the pickup rate goes up because people are in between meetings.
Yeah,
So I just
flipped over to my C-levels list of sales leadership. So I was doing senior VP, even some couple directors at startup companies. I just moved over into my co-founder, CEO, CRO list.
Nice. Yeah, I'm about to move over to a different list in hopes of more pickups at this hour. People always ask this question. When's the best time to make cold calls? What do you guys think about that?
Anytime.
Chet's answer is the correct answer. The correct answer is any and all the time, right? It's like when people say, what's the best time to go to the gym? Whenever it works for you. What's the best time to make cold calls? Whenever it works for you. What I've found time and again is that if reps see this article that says that Monday mornings and Thursday after lunch are the best times, that's the only time they go to call. And if for some reason an internal meeting blocks that, they go, well, I can't call right now. It's Tuesday at 9:30. Like, it's not optimized. I can't call right now. I'm going to go do something else. And that's the classic fallacy that leads to a really low calling culture where there's not enough conversation going on.
Totally becomes an excuse like that. Yeah.
Excuses, right? What Ronan and I do and help bring organizations, there's a large cultural component to it. Right. Mm-hmm. This idea of we want to have live conversations with people. We want to go out and make that connection now. right? And a lot of the reasons people don't do that is because they see articles saying, oh, you can only call on Tuesdays or only call on Fridays.
Well, let's clarify that, Kevin, right? There are going to be statistically times that are better and worse, right? If you have data that's equal in terms of its quantity and you have isolated the same persona and you know your data quality is about the same, so those are big variables, all three of those, then you can legitimately look at it and say, look, these times have higher connect rates. Does that mean there's better or worse times to call? No. Who says that the time when it's worse, you're not going to connect with like your most ideal prospect and book a meeting? I've generated some of the best leads either really early in the day, 7:30 a.m., 8 a.m., or late in the evening, 6, 7 p.m. when I'm still dialing. I usually follow the sun though when I dial, so I'll go from east to west. It's like the end of the day, I'm just dialing into Hawaii at that point.
Fun fact: even later than Hawaii would be Australia. I've called Australia on purpose.
Oh yeah, it's a good one.
Well, it's like Will Aiken said something when I was like watching somebody on TikTok talking about like their cold email reply rate and when they get the most replies when they mass send emails, all this kind of stuff. And then there's that whole thing about like emails with like something with, there's a whole conversation around like Gong published data that like certain opener works, but it directly contradicts other data from other companies, whatever. Right. But then he just said like causation and effect, right? So why are your cold call times, why are your connect rates the highest at Thursday at 4 p.m.? Well, hey, maybe you've been making the most cold calls later in the day to hit up your call count. So then you're gonna, you know what I'm saying? So that's when people are like, oh, the best times in the day are this. Well, it's all causation and effect. It's because you're making the most cold calls. When we had tools that we could look at that when I was running sales development teams, that was exactly the same. I go, wow, we have like a 14% connect rate at this time. Oh, well, look, we made 5 times as many cold calls in that hour on average than we do any other time of day. So no wonder. Right. So, it's data is interesting. There's a lot of ways to interpret it, but people need to remember that causation and effect.
It's funny. Speaking of that, with the time zones, going back to that bit, one thing I love about ConnectAndSell is they have like this automatic time zone detection thing. So as you're dialing through it, they'll just connect you with the people within business hours, but they won't dial the people out of business hours, which, is tremendously helpful. Because that way you're not bothering people. I've called people that are at dinner and they are not happy campers when you cold call them. Also book meetings with people at dinner. But that bit alone makes it easy just to be able to go through the list. But going back to what you were saying, Chet, like you got to test stuff out, right? You got to try different times. The thing is, make sure it doesn't become a crutch, an excuse for like, I'm not going to dial at this time because it's a bad time to dial. Like that is the thing I've seen happen so often.
Well, and more importantly, like let's say you're an SDR leader and you see that Wednesdays.
Hey, Jeff, this is Kevin with the Call Guys. How you doing? Yeah, my name's Kevin Hopp. I actually run a business called the Call Guys. I know I caught you out of the blue here. You got a minute to chat or are you heads down something else, Jeff?
Hey, Justin, happy Tuesday.
Yeah, exactly. It's actually
doing well. How about yourself?
Call. So what? All right, great, fantastic. Jeff was very, very aggressive. You ever get those? Renan, what's your take? He says, you heard my intro there. Very calm, cool, collected. And he says back, I don't know who you are. Why are you called? And then hangs up.
Call him back and say, now that you know who I am. Now, people, you never know when you're going to get them. So sometimes they'll be in the middle of something and you're just catching the tail end of frustration.
Yeah, it's not. Folks are not normally that aggressive, but that was a very aggressive gentleman. I'm a fan of not calling those people back, right? Like I'm not going to call Jeff again today. I'll call him tomorrow. Different day.
There you go.
Try again, but I'm not calling him right back to force the issue. That's for sure.
All right, I'm changing up we're about halfway. Oh, we're more than halfway through. I'm going to change up to the other persona. So now I'm going to move over to the second thing that Kevin and I do a lot of, which is cold call training. So I'm going to be calling heads of sales departments, people who probably own the revenue number, and position the call guys as a way to make sure that cold calling is in their repertoire, in their tool belt for generating new business. Also, are you guys hearing that echo? Is that just me?
That's just you, man. I don't hear it.
I had a guy when I got connected with someone when Kevin was on the phone. I went on mute, but it was interesting because when I gave him, does my company name sound familiar? He said, yeah, it does. That throws me off sometimes. It's like, I'm not connected to you on LinkedIn. I do the right scrubbing. I know you're not following me on any social, so it sounds familiar. Okay, cool, interesting. But yeah, I don't. When people do the whole busy thing, I used to be a lot more aggressive with. Like, I'm in a meeting. Used to be a lot more aggressive with it. Now I just ask for permission to call back at the top of the hour. I don't like. I found that it can do more harm than good, especially when you're calling a VP of sales who might actually be in a meeting, but it's like. I mean, because he was like whispering, could be in Zoom at home, maybe he went off mute, and it did ring for a long time. He's like, I just picked up this call to make sure everything was okay because my kids are at school. And I'm like, yeah, that's fine. Like,
and that, that's legitimate, right? That happens all the time. And the question is from there, can you pivot them into, look, does it make sense for me to explain in under a minute why I was reaching out?
Yeah. And that was when he said,
Sean,
who are you calling? And gave him the intro and said it sounded familiar. I said, let me call you back in a half hour.
Hey, Sean, can you hear me? Hey, Sean, it's Ronan Pesar with the call guys. Hey, look, I know nobody likes getting a cold call, especially not on a Tuesday afternoon. Mind if I share why I'm calling in, then you can decide if you want to hang up on me? Three minutes in a bad cell zone. Okay, hopefully I'm not coming through sounding like a robot. Just one quick question for you. With the direction that marketing has been heading in, do you already feel confident with your team's ability to generate new leads going outbound? You are right about the bad sell zone. I heard every third word there. You know what, Sean? Can I try you again in a few hours when you're in a better sell zone? Okay. In the meantime, I'm going to send you a connect request on LinkedIn so you can put a face to the voice and notice that I'm not a robot. All right. Safe driving. So that one, like, I heard literally every third word he was saying. I'm like, this is going to be a very bad conversation.
Why?
I'm just
Happy
trying
Tuesday.
again.
Yeah, I need to speak to Greg, please. Oh, is this Rumbix? I apologize. Thank you so much. Okay, that didn't work. So we're going to try the second number, which is promising when I see an area code that is not an 833 or an 805 with multiple numbers.
Shoot into this connection. So yeah, anytime you get someone and it's like you're fighting the circumstances, you can't hear them, they can't hear you. You know some facts already. You know that you have a working number that they answer. That's a huge win right there.
Huge win.
Huge. Second thing is, can you say something to them to give them a heads up to look out for you? In my case, I've invested a lot in my LinkedIn brand, so I'll always say, can I send you a connect request? That way you can put a face to the voice and know that I'm not a robot, or see that I'm a real person, or whatever it is. And he was like, yeah, sure, go ahead. So now my hope is that sometime in the next few hours, he's going to see that. I'm going to call him back later today in hopes that he won't be on the road driving through the mountains of California. and we'll have better cell reception. But if he doesn't, I have a number that I know works. I could also text him and say, hey, wanted to know when would be better to follow up. Caught you the other day when you were driving and it sounded like you were in the middle of mountains. And he might, so the texting thing, by the way, I only recommend after you've already made a connection. So texting is a good follow-up once you've already connected with somebody, because then you have a reason to shoot them a text. Sometimes people will say something like, oh, what's this about or whatever. That's always a good segue and hook into, yeah, that's why I was actually reaching out to introduce you to my company. Talk about this challenge. This, Kevin likes to call it, what do you like to call it, Kevin? You do this.
What?
You got your business challenge and your valuable
business problems and valuable solutions.
And so the way I like to position it as, you want to probe for business problems, business challenges, and you want to provoke for valuable solutions. And so usually it's around like, I want to talk to them about current day pains that they have and see if they're curious to learn ways to have a better solution in the future. So in our case, it's like, do you want to see your sales development team have better success cold calling? Do they cold call? And that one, I mean, for any sales leader, most of them like that one.
That's for certain. The interesting thing you suggested there is texting a lead that you haven't called before. Oh, hey, this is Kevin. John, how you doing? John, my name's Kevin Hopp. I'm the co-founder of a business called The Call Guys. I know I'm reaching out of the blue. It's a Tuesday morning. You got a minute, and I can tell you why I called? Oh, shoot. All right. Reach out another day. Cheers. It's tough. Renan, I might need to switch. I might need to try your line. I might need to try the do you have 10 seconds I can tell you what this is about, and you can tell me if it makes sense to call another time? Like, because that's like what, 4 times in a row I've gotten the, hey, you got a minute? And they're like, no, I don't have a minute. Like,
yeah, that's also why I don't like also, I mean, it's not a big enough sample to know yet. You got to call like hundreds of people before you really know if it's good or not. But that's also why I'm a big fan of that opener of like, can I explain why I'm calling? And then you can decide if you want to hang up. Try to say it with a little bit of a chuckle and then move on. Because people will sometimes be like this guy, Sean, who I just spoke with, was like, yeah, sure, go ahead.
Yeah.
Let me hit here, call back.
I always feel like as much as people can surprise you with their awful answers, you can also be pleasantly surprised by their consent, if you just ask for it. That's why I like the way you guys open those calls. Totally. I'm not a permission-based opener guy, but I see how it works for you all. I think you have the right tone for it. I don't have the right tone. I chain smoked for a decade. I sound like a jerk when I'm like, can I have some of your time? In a world where you picked up the phone, made the mistake of having a conversation with me because you were walking into a meeting.
In a world.
Hey, Blair. Hey, Blair, it's Ronen Pessar with The Call Guys. How have you been? Yeah, it's Ronen Pessar. Hey, look, I know nobody likes getting a cold call, especially not on a Tuesday afternoon. I could keep it super brief, and then you can decide if you want to hang up on me. Is that fair? Okay, I appreciate that. Just quick question. Are you still overseeing sales at Beyond Trust? Okay, awesome. Out of curiosity, this isn't a gotcha or anything, not trying to call your team ugly, but does your team already have a way to predictably create enough pipeline to hit your 4 to 5x goals of your revenue? Oh, I know Crayon too. Wow, you guys have a serious stack there. Jeez. That's awesome. Well, so yeah, actually, the reason for my call and specifically what I mean um, is cold calling, like I'm doing right now. So myself and my partner, we train cybersecurity teams, like well, many of them, Cyvatar, Mimecast. I came from Security Scorecard on how to cold call in a way that's effective to generate new leads. You guys ever think about doing any kind of cold call training before for your team? Gotcha. Yeah. Makes sense as the senior director of sales that you wouldn't oversee the BDRs. Does that mean you think I should try to hit up your BDR leader, or is that something that you would? Interesting. Mm-hmm. Mm. Those two things go together with Zoom Info very often. Expensive and they have everything. Okay, cool. So you said Sean's overseeing the BDR team. That's cool that you guys have a cold call academy. What is that, an internal thing, or did you partner with someone for that? Hell yeah. That's incredible. Wow. Okay. Hell yeah. I love to hear that. Okay, so just to confirm, because I had Tom Stewart as the guy I should hit up, but he's not the one you think. You said Sean, Mike Surgeon. Okay. And if I reach out to Mike, is it cool to say like, hey, I talked to Blair. He said he doesn't oversee the BDRs. Told me I should try you. Okay. You're telling me the head of global sales development won't take a cold call? What has happened to our world? Wow. I can imagine. Okay, cool. Bring it to Mike. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, hey, Blair, I really appreciate the conversation. I'm going to try Tom, and I'll even try my luck with Mike, see what happens here. But hopefully in a month or two, you'll see us coming on board to help bring you guys some more leads. Thanks. Take care. All right. So that was a pretty sweet company. One of the biggest, hottest cybersecurity companies, at least when I was in the thick of it. Beyond Trust, they just skyrocketed because they did compliance stuff back when that was getting really intense and hot. And it's like a 1,400 person company. So this guy just gave me the whole rundown of like everyone in their sales development org. He took me through like 5, 6 different people, explained his whole tech stack of all these things that they have. So now I'm going to use that intel and craft a few personalized messages, try to cold call the few people he told me to reach out to, send them connect requests on LinkedIn. This is where I now go multi-channel. Like I go try to hit them up from every angle possible with something of value to say like, look, I'm not a stranger. I'm not a robot. I've done this research. I know this stuff about you. But this is a good way to sort of farm some data and information and then use that as a pointed way to do your outreach.
I'm a huge fan of that. Huge fan of that, because you're no longer like cold interacting. Some things. This is a really important concept for people to kind of realize that there's cold calling and cold outreach. Then there's I know things about your company. I know about your interests. I know about what you're doing today. When you have that kind of context, that is so powerful, because most SDRs, most full cycle AEs are looking at lead lists and they just look at the list and it's like, well, Bob is as good as a prospect as Stephanie, is as good as a prospect as, Emmanuel or whoever's on the list. You don't know anything about them besides where they work and what their title is. When you know things, Ronan, you're spot on. Full court press, multiple channels, right? Meet them in whatever channel they use. Huge fan of that.
So I've got the referral disposition here, put in the info. I've got the guy here that I want. I'm gonna pull his number and just try to one-off dial him. See if I can get it now while we're still 4 minutes left. Okay, race against the clock. Wow. Time flies when you're having fun, right, guys?
It does.
Much better format with a third person. Puts a lot more content in the show.
Hell yeah. I love that. Also, shout out to Shay. What's up? Thanks for being on the show. Hello, Dan. Love that you're here. Scott as well. We got a lot of friends here that have been through or involved with the Call Guys training before. So you guys know we're not totally BSing when we say this is what we do. We actually have people here on the show who have actually been a part of various trainings that we do.
What are you talking about, Renan? We just talk about this stuff. We don't, we don't actually
we don't do it. We don't actually make calls.
Yeah, come on, dude. We're just one of those, typical LinkedIn influencers. Do as I say, not as I do. Or we're not. We're actually the call guys, baby. We're out here doing it. We do it live. Cold calling. My dialer is running over here, by the way. It'd be really nice to get a connect and a sweet meeting right here at the buzzer.
I'm gonna beat you to it.
No, you won't. Dude, you can't call your referral, by the way, right now. That's warm calling, not cold call. Hey, this is Kevin. This is Kevin with the Call Guys. Roy, how are you? Yeah, my name's Kevin Hopp. I actually co-founded a business called The Call Guys, and I know I'm reaching out to you out of the blue here. Did I catch you at the second to have a cool conversation, or are you heads down something else? Okay, 2 minutes. That might be more than I need. The reason for my call, we work directly with B2B tech startups, not unlike yours, to help them do more with less, given the current state of the technology space. I'm just curious about kind of what you're focused on headed into the next quarter here. Is generating outbound pipeline, having more conversations with prospective customers, is that something you guys are focused on as a business? No, it's not. Ah, fantastic. Well, it's generally pretty common that I hear that is the concern. If that's not your concern, probably wouldn't make sense for us to have much more of a conversation then. With City Hive, you guys have is it a B2B model? Are you guys selling to businesses, or is it mostly business to consumer? Okay. And do you guys have, I see, one of the things on LinkedIn that you talk about a lot is e-commerce and technology. So you guys have a big, robust inbound funnel. Is that kind of the difference here? Okay, right on. Do you mind if we connect on LinkedIn? Okay, cool. I sent you a connect request here. We've got actually over 20 mutual connections. So if we're connected on LinkedIn, you'll see a lot of stuff that my partner Ronan and I put out. If any of it's ever of interest, we're happy to have a conversation with you. We help organizations that are trying to build systems and processes for scale. We're not an outsourced shop. We're an in-source shop. So might be worth the conversation down the line. All right, have a great day.
Love that word. In-source. All right, I can't believe the time's up here. But
dang, almost got
60.
It.
Yeah, you did. That was close.
Yeah, that was a good conversation.
All right, what are your stats? I had 60 dials and 6 conversations, 1 in 10. That's really solid. That would have taken me typically with this much pausing and talking and all that stuff, 2-3 hours. Took me the run of the show. And I wasn't going straight through it. Every time you guys connected, I would hit pause to keep going.
Yeah, let me see here. I gotta save the disposition here.
So 1 in 10 dial to pickup is really good data.
I'm at about what? It says over here 45 dials, 6 conversations. That's what it says. but we know that not all those were actual conversations. So it was easy. Let's put it this way, guys. If you can have your hands up while the technology connect and sell, my conversation weapon is moving for me. That's what we shoot for here. Chet, thank you so much for coming on the show. Really do appreciate it. How can people connect with you, learn from you, get into your universe?
We didn't want my stats. What am I, the odd man out? Come on.
Go ahead, read your stats.
Hit us with it.
41 dials on the nose, 2 conversations, 1 entrepreneur, 1 call me back at the top of the hour. So I'm going to jump and go give him a call. Connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm a whore for social media attention. So give me all you got.
That's the most honest thing I've heard all day.
Yeah. I mean, look at how much content I put out. Obviously, I don't just do it for my health.
You guys need to follow Chet on TikTok. Chet's a good TikTok follow. I follow him on TikTok, and I laugh. I love your content.
By the way, before we do depart, Scott asked a good question. How many parallels do you have your dialer set to? Mine does. I go between 3 to 5. Kevin's a fan of like a similar number. You usually do 3, right, Kevin?
Yep, but the best part about Connect and Sell is we don't have to worry about that. Connect and Sell moderates all of that for you. One press go, and it all works for you. So if you guys haven't seen Connect and Sell, make sure to check out Connect and Sell. I'm going to drop a little form here. You can get a free test drive, free usage of Connect and Sell for anyone that is interested. As soon as that goes up, boom, there it's in the chat. Shout out to our sponsor. Thank you very much, everybody, for attending. Check us out. We'll be back in 2 weeks. This show is every other week now. And in the meantime, tune into the podcast. Anywhere you listen to podcasts, just look for The Call Guys. We are over and out, everybody. Adios.
Thank you.